Konnichiwa. I am Andy Simon. I am a member of the board of the International Council of Psychologists and the president-elect.
Konnichiwa. I am Mary Bullock. I am the Secretary General of the International Council of Psychologists, and we are so delighted to be here with you today at the beginning of the Japanese Regional Conference to tell you a little bit about the International Council of Psychologists. To do that, we have prepared some materials so that we can show you in pictures and words what the ICP is, what it does, and what we hope to do with you. So what is the International Council of Psychologists? The ICP is a professional association that is devoted to asking how psychology can make a difference in our world. ICP was founded in 1941, so it has a very long history. And since its beginning, its mission has been to promote human rights, dignity, and justice, to further international understanding and world peace, and to do that by facilitating collaborative relationships among colleagues around the world. In its new strategic plan, which was approved by the ICP Council in 2021, ICP states this mission explicitly, and it also adds a set of values and a vision. And the most important value, I think, of ICP is it's valuing diversity, diversity in all aspects of methodology, of culture, of individuals. And the reason for valuing diversity and having that be forefront is to promote inclusivity. If you were going to think of one word to describe ICP, in addition to its mission, it would be ICP is inclusive. ICP also has a vision that it will become a major psychology organization, a major resource that will promote human rights, dignity, and justice, and provide materials and information to allow its members and others to do so. Who is ICP? ICP's members span the globe, as you can see in these pictures. Members are those colleagues who are recognized as psychologists in the countries where they live and work. ICP also has professional associates who are colleagues in related professions around the world, working in areas that include psychological matters. And we have a large number of student members who are colleagues who are enrolled in study in psychology. All in all, ICP currently has over 190 members across 38 countries. And the members come from all disciplinary venues. They're engaged in universities, clinics, governments, consulting firms, and more. And as you will hear, ICP members' interests are very broad, but focused on our common themes of human rights, dignity, and justice.
ICP is not a typical association. We are working together around the world as both friends and colleagues. We celebrate our size, meaning we're not an extremely big association where some national associations have tens of thousands of members. We have a much smaller number. So not only do we get to know each other, we get to share personal information and experiment and try out different programs, different webinars, different types of projects. That's why you see on the screen that we like to say that ICP is flexible. We are adaptable. As another comparison point, sometimes large associations have many layers of approval that members have to go through in order to try out a new idea or offer a new program. At ICP, we welcome experimentation. We like when our members try new ideas. We're willing to support each other in exploring what's out there and what's possible for us. Some other information about ICP. We currently have 4 interest groups that have been started by our members. As you can see on the screen, we list them right here. There's quite a bit of activity among these groups. And a point of pride among ICP is that we make sure that our special interest groups are active and that when members seek out information about them, they don't just find, for instance, a link on a web that doesn't lead anywhere, or a special interest group that stopped its work a while back but hasn't been dissolved just yet. Our special interest groups are actively involved in exactly what they're trying to do. For instance, the health psychology group has also already put on a webinar discussing the impact of COVID on peoples around the world. Our decolonizing psychology and societies interest group has been meeting and growing in membership. You will find this with all of our interest groups, and we welcome people to take part in any and all of them. You can also see that ICP has a very active webinar program. Our webinars are archived on our webpage, and they are available to anyone for free. Anyone can access it, no payment, no password is needed. And we have professors from around the world who are using our archived webinars as a resource base for supporting what they're teaching their students, or in some instances, when they need to miss a class, they assign our students a webinar to log on and watch. We're very proud of this, as ICP sees itself as a resource for information for people around the world.
ICP works hard on communicating with its members, and we do so in a number of ways. Our flagship way of communicating is, of course, through the website, where we try to have up-to-date information, announcements, and resources. On the website, you can find a webinar library, as Andy just mentioned. You can also find links to our virtual conference from last year that includes plenary sessions and keynote talks that also are incredibly valuable as teaching materials. So we invite you to go to the website and explore what it offers. We also publish a newsletter 2 to 4 times a year that includes lots of news and information about ICP and its members. It includes research briefs, reports of global activities, and a new art and poetry center. And finally, we are beginning to communicate with our members on an active basis by meet and greet meetings. We've had one, and the next one is scheduled this month in July. And at these meet and greet meetings, we invite our member colleagues to come together, introduce themselves, and see where the conversation will go as a way of fostering networking and interaction. This is the kind of networking that, of course, ICP is at the heart of ICP when we get to meet in person. But now that we can't meet in person, we're trying to find ways to do this in a way that still encourages network and meeting in a person-to-person way. ICP also has relations outside of itself. We are accredited at the United Nations. We have been accredited since 1981, and ICP sponsors a team of psychologists who work actively in New York and Geneva and Vienna. What we do with the United Nations is try to bring the voice of psychological science to United Nations documents and deliberations. And we do so in collaboration with a number of other psychology and behavioral and mental health organizations that are also accredited at the UN. The ICP also sponsors the Global Network of Psychologists for Human Rights. This is an independent organization whose goal is to be a resource for looking at issues, documents, and initiatives at the intersection of psychology and human rights. And in that network, on the network website, you can find information on human rights education, on human rights, current human rights issues involving psychologists or where psychology is relevant. And you can join the network, receive its monthly bulletin. Also, there is no cost for this. So we encourage you to take a look at the Global Network of Psychologists for Human Rights. ICP is also involved as an organization with a number of partners. One is the Global Psychology Alliance. This is a grouping of national and international organizations of psychology that has been meeting on a monthly, if not bi-monthly basis over the last 2 years. Its current focus is on global climate change and how psychology can make a difference. A second partner is the World Federation for Mental Health. This is an organization that brings together mental health professionals and laypersons and patients and families to advocate for treatment, for better treatment, research, and interventions for mental health issues. And the last organization that ICP is involved with is called WANGO. It's the World Association of Non-Governmental Organizations. And our involvement in that really is to have discussions with other NGOs about how we can more effectively organize ourselves. This organization just developed a code of ethics for NGOs. So we talk with them about how to efficiently organize ourselves as an association and how to think about initiatives that we might collectively do.
We also want you to know about the conferences and meetings that ICP leads every year around the world. Our annual conference is unique. We remain consistent to our mission and vision in terms of human rights, dignity, and justice, but we are also experimental in our conferences. We try different presentation formats. We welcome people. We have long socializing, many socializing opportunities. We bring people in from all phases of their careers, from students to highly experienced professionals. And we provide many opportunities for discussion, for idea exploration, and for generating ideas. We also seek feedback for conferences to be held in the future. We're trying different formats all the time to figure out how can we best create a conference that's interactive and serves people in the work they're about to do for the remainder of the year. Regional conferences also bring people that are experts to the area so that people can share information and deal with whatever issues are coming up in a certain location in the world. And as you know, you're about to enjoy the ICP conference here in Japan, led by Drs. Michiko Fukuhara and Naomi Asuzuma. We hope that you enjoy this conference very much, as we expect great things from it.
And the next annual conference of ICP will be held this December. It will be virtual on Zoom. We're attempting this year to change the format a little bit, so the conference will feature 4 expert panel discussions where we are inviting colleagues who are experts in the area of climate justice, women's issues, and more, to come together in a panel and present a little bit of information and then have a panel discussion among themselves and with the audience. Through doing this, we're going to really try and foster interactive discussion within our conference. We also will have the usual conference fare of interactive posters and short talks, and there will be updates and award talks, a human rights celebration, and plenty of opportunity for networking. So we hope that you will take the opportunity to sign up for our virtual conference. The date is there, the website is here, and we really encourage you to join us there. It's a lot of fun. So this has been a very whirlwind tour of a little bit of what ICP does. We encourage you to look at the website to learn more. And we also encourage you, if you have any questions, to send an email to icpincinfo@gmail.com. And I think both Andy and I just want to say that if you send that email, we are the faces to whom you will be writing. This is not an anonymous email like everything else at ICP. There are people behind the information, and we very much welcome hearing from you. And now we'll just come together on the screen so that we can say goodbye.
Goodbye. Arigato.
Arigato.